welcome back to another episode of The Strange and Uncanny with your host, Dane. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I've sat around a little bit too long lately and too much shit going through my head. And I've asked some people, I happen to work in type of job that I talk to a lot of people every day. So I am definitely a talker, I can tell you that much. And I've been asking people the same question for over a year now. Is it just me, or do things just seem so off? It's like shit almost feels artificial anymore. And it's been that way for years. I mean, I think I started realizing it maybe 5 years ago, something like that. So I've randomly asked people, but lately I've been asking every other person I run into. And they all say about the same thing. Christmas kind of really hit me a little bit weird this year. Even playing up to Christmas, it didn't seem right. Nothing feels like quite real. It almost has an artificial feeling to it. So the other day I'm scrolling through the internet on one of my social media posts, or not posts, but pages, and I swear to God, every other person was saying, why didn't Christmas seem right this year? It seemed different. It seemed off. I'm not going to speculate on a whole lot here because I don't want to get in trouble for things I might say. But anyhow, for me, it's been 5 years. And it seems to be right around that timeline for a lot of people when they seem to have a little bit of shift in the way they think things feel. Sorry about that. Stumbling over my words today. Getting a little excited, I think. But anyhow, with that being said, is there something going on? I mean, is it just like a paranoia thing? Is it things like social media causing it? Because now we have everything, right there in front of us. Things are starting to feel artificial. You got, this great big AI thing going on right now. You got all that bullshit. So are things going to start feeling more artificial, or is this by design? And what I mean by design is I've been sitting around thinking lately that, let's see here, how I want to put this. If you look back through history, and you got to really dig deep for this stuff, I'm one of them people that I like to see where things have changed and why they've changed and, reason behind it, all that. In 1939, they changed the frequency, tuning frequency for music. So basically, you would have heard 332 hertz before that. And in 39, they changed it to 440. Well, the problem with that is 432 hertz is like a calm, serene, not really, I don't want to say serene, but it's more of a soulful frequency. Is to 440 is, and I don't want to say this wrongly either, but it's more of a negative effect. It's anxiety-ish, kind of. But the reason behind that, they said they wanted to have a universal tuning, which, they're going to tell you whatever the hell they want to tell you to get something through. So I was reading on that, and that was actually headed up by John D. Rockefeller. So I did a little more digging on John D. Rockefeller, and in the early 1900s, he founded, I don't know if he founded it, but he was a member of the General Education Board, which changed textbooks, the way the schools were designed, the whole school system. Now, this is coming from a man that said that we don't need a nation full of thinkers. He needed a nation full of workers. And if you sit there and you hear somebody say something like that, and then you put them in charge of your school system, you're fucking crazy. That doesn't even make sense. It's like we were nothing but robots to this man or what have you. And then I got to thinking, have you ever noticed how schools, when you're a small child, I don't know about high school, stuff like that, I'm sure not, but you learn how to respond to a bell. You learn how to, your desks are all in rows. You line up single file, almost like you're in an institution or something, or in a factory, lining up to clock in. It just doesn't make sense to me. To me, if you're going, it's like conditioning. So, have they been doing this all along? I mean, how far back does the conditioning go? Has it always been the elite? Because if you think about it, and I don't know if everybody looks at things the way I do. I'm sure they don't, because I've got kind of a twisted, fucked up train of thought sometimes. But it's, if you look at the elites, and I'm talking celebrities, musicians, politicians, and when I say politicians, I mean both sides. This is not going to get into one of them discussions. I mean both sides. They seem to get richer and richer. You look at people like us, fuck, we barely make it. We barely make it. We live paycheck to paycheck. And I mean, a lot of us live paycheck to paycheck. We have shit for savings. Half of us don't know if we're ever going to get to retire. And they're just, we have to worry about our health care. These people get health care for their whole lives. Whole lives. They don't pay for that shit. We pay for that shit. And then we worship these people like celebrities and singers, and I'm not going to name any names, but we treat them like gods and goddesses. They ain't nothing, but they're fucking entertainers. Quit treating people like this. We sit there and treat them in a different respect than we treat each other. And we're equals. We are all equals. No matter if you're black, white, gay, straight, whatever the hell you are, we're equals. The middle class, lower class, we are nothing to these people. But we sit there, worship them, and we sit there and we abide by every goddamn thing they say. And then if you look back through history, you see where they've dictated half the shit going on now. Just like the news right now. You think about this for a minute. And I was thinking about this the other day. You start following something in the news. Say there was a mass unaliving. You start to follow it, and then it just goes cold. It's like you get this one narrative that they give you, and you know it's bullshit. You know 99% of it's bullshit. But we sit there and we take it in, and it's like reality to us. Well, not to all of us, because some of us think outside the box a little bit. But, and for example, the Las Vegas shooting during the country music concert or whatever the hell was going on there. If you watch the footage of that, you're going to tell me that was one man, and they just sat there and let him take his shit up, for, I don't know how long he was staying in the room, but if you've seen the massive amount of weapons that was in that room, and then if you watch the muzzle flash while it's going on, it ain't one guy. Come on now. But you hear nothing about it. You've heard nothing about it since it's happened. Say like with the Kennedy, the Kennedy documents, the redaction and that shit, you might as well take a fucking book and a black marker and every other word just mark it out. If not more than that. You might as well just, the first word, leave it there, black out the rest of it to the last period, because that's what you get. They are so full of shit when they give you this stuff, and they say it's for security reasons and all that. No, it's because they're covering up goddamn names, and they're covering each other's asses. They play by one set of rules, we play by another. It doesn't make sense. And I know that I said I would get into conspiracies on my first video, and the reason I don't is because I get so goddamn antsy when I start talking about stuff. But like I said, you just have to look, all right, with the Epstein stuff going on right now. Come on now. Really? You know how many people was at that island? I'm telling you right now, you're never going to find out the truth. And the thing is, he held events at that island that had nothing to do with that stuff. But once you were marked on that island, you were on that island. Do I think there was a lot of bad shit on that island? Yeah. Do I think he was a bad person? Yep. I don't know if he was as bad as her, but he's bad. And he's just, I mean, he's nothing. He was like, he was a peon compared to where that stuff really goes. I mean, it grows and grows and grows. He wasn't the head of anything. He was a pawn, I think. And there's a lot of pawns in the game. And then I sit there and I get into researching that stuff. And some of the pictures and stuff that come out with the Epstein thing kind of really freaked me out. Seems like a lot of occult stuff. Demon worship. I think there's a lot of that in Hollywood. I think there is in the music industry. I don't know who they're worshiping. They may be worshiping, I think there's 72 main demons, I believe. I've read that you can summons and do different things. There's one to create wealth, make you famous, like all sorts of shit. But there's always an ultimate price at the end. Am I a religious person? No. Do I believe in negative energies, negative things like that? Yeah, because I think that if you look back with the Roman gods, Greek gods, Egyptian gods, those stories come from somewhere. Something along the line in our distant past led up to that. Like I said, it's no different than the Watchers in the Book of Enoch, the fallen angels, the Nephilim, all that stuff ties in. I even think it ties into UFOs. I think it ties into cryptids. I think that all that stuff is kind of combined somehow. Not sure how, but it's combined. And I think that we're just playing into it all. And I don't understand how we just sit back and don't open our eyes a little bit more. I know why, because everybody's got their eyes in their phone. I do myself, not nearly as much as most people, but I do. I try to, like, if I'm around people and stuff, like if I go out to my brother-in-law's or something, I leave the phone in the car. I don't even want the fucking thing around me. I did that the other day for like 4 to 5 hours, and it's peaceful. It's very peaceful not to have your phone up your ass. But anyhow, with that being said, I'm going to keep digging into some of this stuff. There's, like I said, when you look at the elites and you look at us, there's them and us. There's no right, there's no left, there's no black, no white, no straight, no gay. It's them and us. And they are winning. We are nothing to these people. Just like, and I know I was going to end it there, but I got to throw this in there. The audacity of these people when they get on a commercial and want you to donate your money when they're sitting there with $1 billion fucking dollars in the bank. Kiss my ass. Why don't you give up some of them fucking billions? And the rest of us could maybe live like you are, or at least comfortable. I don't know, man. Things are going to have to change. We need the truth on a lot of shit. I think we get fed so much bullshit. I think the media, I don't even watch the news anymore. I don't watch either side. I don't trust whether you're left or right. I think they're all in bed together when the door fucking closes. So with that being said, I will talk to you next time. Peace out.